Hi there plant fans, and thank you very much for stopping by my channel The New Leaf today. I have put together a very waffly video about my top 5 favourite houseplants in the shop at the moment, and generally really. Do give it a watch because there's loads and loads of care advice and also propagation advice packed into this video. Hopefully you'll see how much I really do genuinely love these plants. They're all absolute favourites, great for beginners. They've been very popular sellers apart from this one, which is a new one. So just to let you know the plants I'll be talking about today, we have got good old Marantas, part of the prayer plant family. We also have Cebu Blue, which is my favourite type of pothos. We have Pteris cretica, which is this little fern here. I'm also having a chat about Rex begonias and also stem begonias, so lots of propagation advice there. And last but not least, my favourite plant family, which is Tradescantia, which are mostly responsible for my falling down this huge propagation rabbit hole, because those are the things I really started propagating en masse when I discovered Facebook plant swap groups. And really it came to mind that if I wanted to swap plants with people, I would need some material myself to actually use. So I hope you enjoy what you see. I will stick some timestamps down in the comments for the different plants, so if you need to spin forward to where you want to get to, you can do that. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy. So these are probably my favourite plant in the whole shop at the moment. These are Maranta, so they are a member of the prayer plant family, which also includes calatheas. So these are brilliant. I came to them a few years ago. My father-in-law actually bought me my first one for a birthday present, which I thought was very brave of him. Thanks, Ray. Since then, I have ended up with 6 different types at home. I try and keep them in the shop as much as I can because I just think they are absolutely stunning, exotic, tropical, and more importantly, easy care plants. So I find these much easier than, as I say, some other members of the same family. Used to be quite intimidated by these, but I find them really reliable. They keep pumping out new leaves during winter. Some people would swear by not giving them tap water. I've never engaged with that school of thinking. They get tap water and they have to lump it. I keep them mostly in a north-facing window, although I do have a few dotted around the house, a few feet back from a south-facing window. I do find they can take a little bit of direct sun, but definitely not too much because that can scorch the leaves. I'm absolutely obsessed with Maranta. Got 3 different types here. I've got the light veins, I've got the fascinator in the middle, which a lot of people would probably consider the original one. And then I've got this lovely variegated fiesta here on this end. They are so easy to propagate as well, which makes them just even more brilliant in my book. Just take a long stem, cut below one of the bumpy nodes, and put that node in a bit of water, and very soon it will root for you, and then you will have your own baby plant to give away or put in the original pot. So yeah, I would say in conclusion that Maranta are absolutely fabulous plants. If you're looking for a really lovely trailing beast, these can get really quite substantial after a year or 2. They also will fill out from the crown of the pot. They will fire out new vines as well. One of these at home recently decided to put out 4 entirely new vines from its crown, so that was very pleasing. It's now had a repot. A lot of people keep them in kitchens and bathrooms because they do like a bit of steam and humidity. And yeah, as I said, definitely not too much direct sun. And don't let them get too dry because they get a bit moody and crispy, but other than that, they really are easy care plants. So if you don't have a Maranta in your life, I definitely recommend that you get one. So this little beauty is Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. So this is a type of pothos. You'll see these a lot in my shop, and if you come in you'll hear me talk about these a lot as well, because they are absolutely brilliant plants, great beginner plants, really easy care, great quick growers in the summer as well. So as you can see, they have this really stunning bluey grey glaucous colour, glaucous, one of my favourite words. And they will have this lovely pointy leaf. This was a particularly nice batch because they've got all the nice fenestrations in the leaves there. So yeah, this is absolutely one of my favourites at home and in the shop. Not only does it look lovely, but it's really bomb-proof as well. Just to mention a little note I forgot when filming the Cebu Blue part of this video, you can see I've magically changed clothing. I didn't mention to you on how to propagate these lovely plants. So exactly the same as any pothos you might have, or any trailing philodendron, anything like that. So what you're looking for is a nice long stem again, and you can see those aerial roots there, hopefully. So what you would do is cut below a set of those noddy roots and then place that into a bit of water, or perhaps some damp soil medium of your choice, and you'll find that those aerial roots quite quickly turn into proper roots. And when you start getting some secondary ones through and you've got good 2 or 3 inches of roots, you can pop that up and that will grow away for you. These little beauties are Pteris cretica silver break fern. I'm not really a fern person. I can find them a bit tricksy, like probably a few of you can, or actually some of them a bit boring. But I recently got these in. I've been trying to get hold of them for a while, but they kept going out of stock. I just think they're really pretty, really sort of light and airy. Any of you, if you need any fern care tips, I would say bright indirect light. They do like a bit of bright light. I think quite a few people make a mistake of thinking that they can just sit in a gloomy corner and then they're a bit surprised when perhaps they don't grow a lot or they go a bit rotty. And obviously don't let these guys dry out, but don't drown them either. They do like a little bit of a mist every now and then, and some people would swear by not using tap water. I don't find that myself, but you'll probably find some people who would argue with me about that. So yeah, another new firm favourite in the shop. I really like those ones. So here I have a couple of lovely begonia to show you. I try and keep a good mixture in the shop at all times because I absolutely love them. I fell down a massive rabbit hole of begonia about 3 years ago. I had been a bit intimidated by them previously, but I got sent one in a plant swap in the post as an extra. Sort of thought, well, I have to look after it now, and actually it did very well. So as with a lot of plant collectors, in 2 months I had like 12 or 13. So this one is a Begonia rex that grows from a clump from the crown. And this one is Griffin. It's a type of stem or cane begonia. He's a bit short at the moment, but he will get quite tall. So I love begonias because they're really colourful, and they come in the most crazy mix of colours and shapes and sizes. I've given up trying to keep track of varieties because every year like another 100 come out from the Dutch growers, but they are brilliant plants. I've got on quite well with them at home. I keep them a couple of feet behind a north-facing window. They do like good air circulation. Watch this if you tend to group your begonias together. I didn't, and I lost a few over my first winter because I didn't keep an eye on that. Also, a good idea is to keep an eye out for powdery mildew. It will appear as sort of grey spots on the leaves. There are chemical preparations you can buy to get rid of it very quickly, and also there are a few homemade methods you can try as well if you're not keen on using chemicals at home because of pets or little kids being around. So yeah, really easy to propagate, something I could talk about for a very long time, propagating begonias. You can either take a leaf cutting very simply by cutting a leaf with a long stem and putting it in a small amount of water. You will find that quite quickly it will root. you'll actually find in a few weeks you end up with a little baby plant growing at the end of that cut stem. It's absolutely fascinating. Even fully under the water, they really don't mind. Another thing you can do is take a division from the crown and then put that in water if it doesn't have many roots. If it's well rooted, then I would stick it straight into soil, but make sure you keep it a bit wetter than usual. And then stem or cane begonias, you would generally propagate those by actually cutting off a decent chunk of stem with a couple of leaves attached and then rooting that in water or your chosen medium. They are particularly easy to propagate, I find. So yeah, begonias are great fun plants to play with. Experiment, mess around, try and grow yourself some babies because they are exceptionally cute little plants. And also the array of colours and shapes that they come in is really stunning. You are definitely going to find one that fits in with your home. These are Tradescantia. They are another one of my absolute favourite plants that come in loads and loads of different colours and sizes and leaf shapes. So I discovered Tradescantia a few years ago. I actually got my first one from a charity shop. They were selling someone's cuttings outside, so I grabbed a few and managed to keep that one going for absolute years with propagating and refreshing it every now and then. So Tradescantia, you'll find them millions of different colours. Some are hairy, some aren't hairy, some are stripy, some grow upright with long strap-shaped leaves, others grow in a very trailing fashion. In nature, in the wild, these are actually a creeping plant, so they would grow as ground cover and spread themselves out by continually rooting along their stem and throwing out new growth. What this does mean, which I'm sure many of you are very aware of, is that Tradescantia are extremely easy to propagate. They will trail into each other's pots and actually root in each other's pots. So all you really need to do, if you've got a nice long stem, is cut off a piece of stem, remove the bottom leaf or two from the cut end so that it doesn't rot, and then just put your cutting in water, making sure that the bottom couple of nodes are underneath, and you'll find that they root very, very easily. They're another one that's really fun for children because they're just so quick to root and grow. You can also root your cuttings by sticking them straight into damp soil, so you could start a new pot, or you could just stuff them back in your original pot to fill it out. Something else to mention about Tradescantia is they are extremely desirable to thrips. So if you have one of these more tender varieties at home, if you notice it has taken a drastic downturn over a couple of weeks, so it started to go crispy and bald and look really sad, what you need to do is check the back of the leaves, and what you're looking for is tiny black shiny spots, and that is actually thrip poo. And if you see those, you need to take action because you will almost certainly lose your plant during the next week or two if you procrastinate. There are some excellent preparations on the market to deal with thrips. A lot of people try and do it naturally. I would advise doing some research and trying to find the best method that works to you because they are stubborn. Tradescantias are brilliant. They're really easy to look after. A lot of people make the mistake of overwatering them, so they go a bit melty and rotty. What you can do is really let these guys dry out and then give them a really good soak before you water them again. You really want to make sure that all the water is draining away because they get really grumpy if they're sat in water for too long and can get some root rot as well. I definitely recommend getting at least one Tradescantia if you don't have any in your collection. They're really easy and fun. This is another one which I love called Nanook. This has more of an upright habit because these stems are quite juicy and thick. But look at the colour on that. They are absolutely spectacular. This one is equally as easy to propagate as the more trailing varieties. So get yourself a trad, you won't regret it. So hopefully you enjoyed that little chat and you can see how passionate I am about these plants and the effect they can have on our lives. Lots of benefits to bring, as I'm sure you're aware. Please do leave a comment if there's any other plants you would like any more information on. I'd also love to hear about your experiences with anything that I mentioned, especially if it's about propagation, because you may have gathered I am very, very passionate about making more plants. So thank you very much for watching again and stopping along to my channel. Please do hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay in touch about more new content, and hopefully I'll see you back here soon. Thanks very much. Sorry about all the banging and clanging, by the way. I have got the very lovely South Molton scaffolding taking down some scaffolding on the shop across the road.